What's going on, guys? It's Wired Kill. Today I'm going to show y'all how to loot Lighthouse. I'm going to show you where all the high tier spawns are. I'm going to show you where all the stashes are. I do not loot the road camp. There's no need to loot the road camp to make money on Lighthouse. Sit back, enjoy, and I hope y'all enjoy the video. Make sure you like and sub, and we'll see y'all in the next one. The first place we're going to approach off this is what I call Blue Chalet. So you're going to have a Blue Chalet right here. It has one, maybe two high tier spawn loot spawns in it. Nothing crazy. I make a lot of money on this map and I skip this completely. I do not ever come down here. There's no need to. But I will show you the loot spawns. Okay, so the first thing you want to do is inside the garage right here. There's a defuel cell spawn or just a fuel spawn period. Right here is, let me turn on the laser. So right here on this newspaper is just a general spawn. Right here, this shelf. That is an armor spawn. Very good armor chances there. I found a lot of armor kits there. So if you run upstairs, run into this place, on this purple chair is a high tier spawn. It can spawn anything from gold chains to bitcoins. Run down, come in here, on the shelf. There's a intel spawn, and you got a red duffel as well. Usually find some pretty good loot in there. So, once you're done in there, you're going to exit, come towards the Blue Chalet. Brown Chalet is on that side. Path to Shoreline is on that side. Try to hit this box quickly, because people typically like to sit up here and camp this, because there are spawns right behind those rocks. So, Bitcoins, GP coins, all that good stuff can spawn in there. You're going to run inside, check this little book right here. Bitcoin can spawn in there. And you're going to run back here. Right here on this shelf, Bitcoins can spawn, horses, statues of any kind, and then you're gonna check right here inside the broken plate. Bitcoins and all that good stuff can spawn there. Typically, I don't loot anything else. There's a weapons crate. There are two safes in here, but they're not ever good. There's a cash spawn right there, and there's a cash spawn on this table. This weapon box is actually pretty good. I found some good stuff in there. And then you have a ammo crate right here. This ammo crate can spawn some pretty decent stuff sometimes. I found a lot of 5.56, A1, M80, M62 out of that weapon crate itself. Okay, upstairs. You have a room on each side. You're going to run down the hallway. And your first safe is right here. This requires the USEC safe key 2. And then back across the hallway. Open this door. There's another safe. This requires USEC safe key number 1 to loot that. Like I said, there's typically not anything good in those safes. I've never found anything good in those safes. Maybe a mule is the best thing, and that was one time. There's a dead scab right here. I do not recommend coming out on these balconies because you are a target from Pride Rock. And then the last spot that I know of is right here. You can spawn teapots, statues of little sorts like that. Alright guys, so here we are at the Grand Chalet. The Blue Chalet's right behind us. The Path to Shoreline back route is right there. And we're at the side of the Grand Chalet. So what we're going to do is, typically when you come over here, you want to go slow, move slow, listen for people inside the house, you know, your normal PvP stuff. And then once you confirm that it's all clear, you're going to walk down here. Right under these steps, you're going to see a box. Right here on this corner of the box is a high tier Bitcoin spawn. It can spawn aces, Bitcoins, military cable, anything good. So once you grab all that stuff, you're going to come down these stairs and come into the first door. You're going to see a dead body. This dead body has a loot spawn, 2 loot spawns on it. One right here and one right here on his legs. So once you get out of there, you're going to run down, run over these pallets. There's a wooden crate. Inside this wooden crate is a Bitcoin spawn as well. So now you have 2 weapon crates here. You can loot them. This weapon crate, if you're ever looking for your Easkers in the early game task, this weapon crate has a guaranteed spawn for Easkers every single time. It's always going to be the first one. That is a 100% spawn rate. Okay, so after you loot those 2 crates, you're going to move over here to the plant, take a left, you're going to run into the movie theater. You want to check every single one of these chairs, because in the chairs spawns intel. So you're going to check every single one of the chairs and make sure you don't miss no intel. You have a random loot spawn there, and you have a random loot spawn here. And then you can also get the chocolate bars, the Alonka chocolate bars, or whatever they're called. They spawn on the chairs as well. Okay, so moving on, you're going to come upstairs. Now you're in the kitchen, living room area. This is the garage. You're going to walk around to the computer side and check right here. There's a high tier spawn right here on the table, and then you're going to look down in the chair. There's a high tier spawn right here in the chair. After you loot that, move upstairs, and then there's weapons, ammo spawns right here as well. So you're going to move upstairs. A gold chain can spawn in any one of these 3 locations right here. Move over here, and you can spawn any kind of high tier loot, bitcoins typically. There's a random spawn here. Stuff can spawn inside the top of this, and stuff can spawn on the inside of this. Be careful when you're looking through this one, and make sure you check it good, because I have found bitcoins in there that you can't see. So don't just glance at anything. Make sure you check it. Okay, so walk downstairs, walk into the garage or the laundry room, and then you're gonna check the bottom of this shelf. Right here is a high tier spawn, and then you typically get ammo and good stuff right here. So now we're inside the garage. You're gonna walk over to the toolbox, and right here on top of the toolbox is a high tier spawn, and then right here under this red rag is a high tier spawn. So you can open this, and this is a attachment spawn. You have a toolbox here. You do have a loose spawn right here on the ground. Come back here. You have a loose spawn on the ground right here. Random stuff does spawn in here. I find a lot of water filters back here. And then you can also find tank batteries, hammers, sledgehammers, all that good stuff spawning on top of this. So once you loot all that, you can check inside here. This is an attachment spawn. Haven't found anything really good in there, but that is a spawn for attachments. So now we can move across, and if you're down on heels or anything like that, a medical bag spawns here, and typically medical supply spawns here. I found anything from IFAX to Salewas, CMS, Serve 12 kits, all just laying on the ground right here. You do have a safe. You can loot this safe. Alright guys, moving on from the Grand Chalet, we have the Grand Chalet right here, and we are going towards Southern Roads. You're going to run out the main gate, and you're going to come down till you see an opening. You see a nice little opening right here. Keep on moving. And you're going to see this bush. Inside this bush, there is a stash. That is stash number 1 on my loot route. And if you keep running down, you're going to pass the Jeep or the SUV, and you're going to see the chair on top of the rock. Keep running. There's a chair on top of the rock right there. Once you get to this point, you're going to see the final bush. This is what I call the final bush before the chair, because there's no other bushes. The final bush, inside of this bush, there is a spawn. Or a stash. Now we're going to run up here and check the chair, because on top of the chair and on the sides of the chair is a high tier spawn. You can spawn food, statues, bitcoins, anything in the chair, and then they will spawn around the chair as well. Do not fall off this rock. You do break your legs almost every time. So now we're going to run down here and we're going to check the helicopter. You do have a medical crate here, and you have a medical crate here. There's a grenade box there, and there's one on the other side of the helicopter. But check on the ground right here in front of this medical crate, because typically you can, anywhere from right here all the way up and around this big circle area, you can find anything from stems, mules, melatonin, L1s, to gold stars, IFAX, you know, any medical thing spawn right here in this big area. And then check right here too, under this little stick or this little pole, whatever that is. You can find some high tier loot there every now and then. And there's the other grenade box that I was telling you about. And you do have random spawns all through here, but typically they're nothing really good. So now if you go to the tail wing of the chopper and you follow it towards the water, you got Grand Chalet over there. You're going to run, keep the mountain on your left and keep it tight. Jump up on this rock, and right on the other side of this rock, it didn't spawn. There's a stash right here in the corner. Okay. So once we leave that stash, we are going to run down here. Be careful when you do drop down here because you can break your legs. And this is my exact loot route when I'm running stashes. The route that I showed you from the first stash all the way around, this is the exact route that I run. So come down here, jump over all this, and typically if you're, a Timmy, catch your breath right here, you're typically pretty safe. No one's really going to see you or shoot you here. And once you're stamped up, run across. Right here on these pallets is a fuel spawn. You can find metal fuel containers, hand drills, small fuel containers, anything of that such right there. Defuel. So go from the back of that truck and take a diagonal angle and just run the bottom of these little hills. Once you get up on the third hill, see how it's got this little indentation? Just walk it over here. You're going to see a bush and a tree right next to the bush, and right in between them, there is a stash. And at this house you have a dead body right here in the porta can, and he spawns a red duffel bag next to him. Don't run past him. This house right here does have a chance to spawn gold chains inside of it. I don't ever really loot it because gold chains are just not that important to me. But you do have food spawns, drink spawns right here. You have a duffel bag in here. Gold chains can spawn on the ground right there and on the mattress right there. They can also spawn in this room over here in the corner, inside this crate, and just anywhere right here. So now leaving that house, you're going to see the little shed. I would check this shed because many times on many occasions I have found water filters laying right here or laying in that tray. And you also have a toolbox here you can loot. So we're going to leave that shed and we're going to run towards the rocks. You have the big mountain on the left side right there, and you're going to have your striker right in front of you. On the other side of the striker, there's a weapons crate. I found some pretty good weapons in this crate. So now we're at the back of the striker. You're going to look at the rocks directly next to you, and you're going to run to them. In between this little rock right here and this big rock right here, there's a stash. You just crouch down, you can loot that stash. Alright, now once you hit that stash, you're going to come back out this way towards the trees. And you're just going to keep running until you see a little island. It's a tiny little island. Car right in front of it, white car. And you're going to go out to that island. I like to jump on these rocks because you can just jump over the water. Inside the bush on the island, there is a stash. Typically hit it, hide inside the bush, you're good to go. So, we're going to jump back across. There is a stim spawn right here. It's typically morphine. It spawns on the trunk of the car and on the ground right here. So once we leave the white car, we're going to run back up to the big hill. Once you get to the top of the mountain, you're going to take a right. You're going to follow the little trail. You're going to run into this big rock, run over it. Keep on running down. Now once you pass these big rocks on the top, you're going to take a hard left inside this gap. You're going to run into another rock, take a right, and now you're on top of the hill. There's a weapons crate here. I have found intel and some pretty good stuff in there. And then you're going to count. You got one big bush, two big bush. You're going to run to the second big bush, and right on the corner, there's another stash. You're going to see this little ramp looking thing. Just go ahead and run up the ramp and run back down the mountain. Run down the mountain until you get to the cars. Go in between them and look on the ground right here. Some decent stuff does spawn right there. So typically I like to jump the rail, and I like to run on this side of the rail. You're going to run down the rail until you see two tires laid up against the rail. And you're going to look to the right. You're going to see this bush. And if you go between the bush and the tree, there's a stash. Once you hit that stash, just go ahead and run the entire beach down until you get to the extract. Alright guys, well that's a quick tutorial on stashes and high tier spawns for the Grand Chalet and the Blue Chalet. I hope y'all enjoyed, and I'll see y'all next time.